CORZ is flying high. Bit Digital is dumping. The SPY is hitting all-time highs. I'm also going to talk about a penny stock at the end here that I don't think I've brought up on this channel before. But before we get going, check out Capital Curiosities. They do talk about financial fraudsters throughout history. Lots of very interesting stories that they've got there. They've got quite a few now. They're a growing channel there. If you find yourself over there watching one of their videos from here, go ahead and comment TC on the video for me. I'd greatly appreciate that. I've been thoroughly enjoying their stories so far, but go ahead and check them out. And we've also got YouTube memberships now. We've got 3 different levels. Go ahead and check those out as well on the Trade Cave channel. Links for all that is in the description. All right. Go ahead and check this out. Remember when I said that SPY was going to hit all-time highs? Well, it's doing it right now in the pre-market. In the pre-market, it is currently at its all-time high in the pre-market. Let's take a look here. Let's go into the hourly. In fact, we were a little bit higher about an hour ago. Here, it's coming down off that all-time high. It hit almost 615. It's starting to breathe a little bit here. You might notice I got a new indicator down here at the bottom here. This is on balance volume. See, there we go. It's on balance volume. Let's see, what is it? On balance accumulation distribution. It's just volume weighted volume weighted on balance volume. Anyways, yeah, the green ones are when this blue line here cross up above this line that changes red to green, and basically it's just indicating like bullish or bearish in terms of large volume movements. That's all. I've just been toying with it. Something I'm kind of trying to mess with right now. Anyways, that's all. But yeah, SPY is at all-time highs. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I said it would happen. It's happened. This is awesome. All right, great. Let's go take a look at CORZ real quick. Let's go look at the CORZ. Is CORZ still charging up this morning? It is. Pre-market's it is up another 5% today. CORZ was up 33% yesterday. Look at that God candle. Wow, that is a big boy. Look at that. This came off of news that CoreWeave is looking to acquire CORZ. And look at this. So one thing I want you to point out here is this whole bit of volume right here. Look at this. It went all the way from the bottom to the top of this. And look where it stopped. Look where price stopped. Right at this bump right here in that volume. Something to take note of. How the volume works, like that big ramp. Is there anything above? Yeah, and the higher we go here, the lower this volume gets. So CORZ, if this news continues to provide a catalyst, this thing is going to go to all-time highs and higher. It hit my line with perfection. Look at this TA. Look at this TA. Hit my line, went over it by just a couple of pennies, went to 1690. Mine was at 1678. So... or 1677 and went to 1690. So it hit my line very nicely. TA for the win. For anyone that's a non-believer out there, TA works. Let's look at one more thing here. Let's see. I doubt it worked that well, but let's take a look. So we got this. We got that flag there. Okay, so this thing, if it goes to its full potential off this flag, we could see it going all the way up to $20. So we're watching that. I'm not in this one. I missed it. I was in it on this ride up here. I made some decent money on some calls. I kind of really wish I'd had it for that one. But you know what? You win some, you lose some. What can you do? That's the story there. Bit Digital dropped a lot yesterday. So let's talk about that. So a couple of news bits came out yesterday. Sam Tabor, the CEO of Bit Digital, went ahead and bought, what was it, like 100,000 shares of Bit Digital at $2. So that was, people got a little excited about that. The reason this fell is actually not something I'm too concerned about. So they decided to dilute. Okay, they diluted. They offered 75 million shares at $2 a piece, which is why it dropped so dramatically, because before that it was trading at $2.35 and they sold them at $2 a piece, and guess what? It immediately dropped down to $2 a piece. So that was self-inflicted wound there a little bit. But so this is the interesting thing. They wanted to get $150 million of cash, which they did, and they are going to use that cash to buy Ethereum. All right. So this is actually not that bad of a reason that they diluted here. They're going to use it to buy crypto. They're doing the treasury method here, the MicroStrategy method, but they're doing it with Ethereum. So now, if you dislike that, you probably want to stay away from this one. If you do like that, might be an opportunity here, because this one will likely find its way back up to that $2-3 range pretty soon here, assuming Ethereum does a nice big move. Okay, so let's see, how big of a move did we drop overall here? So overall, it was a 19% drop. We ended the day at about 15-ish down, 13, 15-ish down, and we're currently only about 12.6 or 7% down right now, because we're up in the pre-market a couple of pennies. So actually, this is kind of attractive for Bit Digital right now, especially with that big drop. That might be a nice arbitrage moment. I'm going to wait probably for this BX trender to go light red again. Perhaps on a lower time frame, wait for this on balance volume to cross up again on itself. Let's go ahead and look at the 4 hours, see if it's even close. It's really hard on this small screen. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's getting pretty close on the 4 hour. The 4 hour, we might see it, and then it'll do a little whoop, fly up, especially if we get above this little bit right here. This volume right here, we have this big volume gap all the way up to about 242 here. You can see it right there. This space right here, this big void in volume could do a move much like CORZ if we get a nice move out of Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. Let's take a look at that Ethereum. Ethereum is, yeah, it's still in this most traded zone right here that it's been in. It's making this flag that it's been making for quite some time. Let's go ahead and go to the 1 day. We're at the bottom of that flag now, after that dip the other day due to the war news. But look at that, on balance volume is crossing up. It's crossing up weekly, so it's not great. It's not like a strong cross up. But BX trender showing good momentum. RSI is it's almost above 50, getting towards that neutral zone. And the on balance volume, as you can see here on that, let me make this nice and big. This on balance volume, you can see the signal crossed up above the line here. As this thing starts to curl up, we should start to see a nice move to the upside out of this as well. So that's exciting. And if Ethereum can give that to us, and we can see this bull flag in Ethereum, come to fruition and hit up at like 3,300 or so, Bit Digital should be doing pretty nice after that. So that's an interesting proposition here now for Bit Digital potentially to make that move up, and maybe even up to this white line on the 4s or so. We'll see. I'm kind of interested right here. Okay. How's CleanSpark doing? Let's take a look at CleanSpark, the spark of clean. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We actually have some decent moves here. Pre-market's down a smidge. We were up 2% yesterday. On the week, we are up 20% on the week. That's pretty good. We're going to hit that 200 week moving average here at $11. So not too bad, not too bad. Let's take a look here. We can see the on balance volume is crossed up here and nicely, crossed up nicely. So that's actually not a bad sign. As long as this background here stays green, that means that we are potentially going to continue to drive higher. The BX trender is showing good pressure to the upside. The daily RSI is at 62, which is bullish. That's all really good. Let's take a look at the weekly on all of those things. Okay, on the weekly, yeah, the on balance volume's been looking good. The BX trender has been looking good since since April 28th. And so has the BX trender. The RSI is actually is pretty nice as well, 55, slightly above neutral there on the weekly. I like where CleanSpark is looking right now. And we have, look at this big void in the volume profile up here. We go a little bit higher, we enter that void, and we could be finding ourselves at 15.88 to $17 very quickly. If we conquer $17, there's really nothing else up there. Once we get above that $17, it's just crawling on up from there. So that's pretty exciting for CleanSpark. I also wanted to bring to your attention a penny stock that I've successfully played here the last 2 days. It's been very exciting, actually, the last 2 days on this one. This is SRFM, Surf Mobile. Why is this one exciting? Why is it getting attention? It is getting attention because they have partnered with Palantir. All right. So Palantir gives them access to Palantir software, and in exchange they gave shares of their company to Palantir. All right, that's why people like it. That's why people are excited about it. Look at this candle though. It's up 77% this week. You can see that huge wick on top, which is showing the danger. There was that one day where it was up 88%, another day where it came down 29%. Yesterday it was up another 34%. I got in this thing around right here, around 358, and I wrote it up to $5. I sold it just before getting to that top on $5 there on Wednesday. Yesterday, I was in here in the 30-minute chart yesterday, and I bought at $3. So I bought like before market open around $3. I wrote it up to about 340, 350, then I sold it there. I probably should have held on to it. I could have made even more money because it went up to $4 in the aftermarket. Now it's coming back down again. So I'm looking for an area where it may find its resting point and then, potentially find its way back up to $4 or $5 or $6. So I've been playing this one up and down. This one is dangerous. This one is dangerous. So it is a bucking bull. It's not one to trifle with. So you're definitely going to want to wait for structure, wait for your moment, pick it carefully, and don't get greedy, basically, with this one. This one's going to be dangerous. This thing's going to be bucking all over the place. If we come down here, you can see that it is only a market cap currently of $65 million. So this thing is very easily moved up and down by a hedge fund with no problems at all. Like real easy to move this thing around. All right, so don't go crazy on this one. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. These are simply my thoughts when I look at these charts. Go ahead, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and be responsible for your own risk. Let's see. Oh, I was looking at HIMS before, so we're going to do a little flash around here of some things that I'm watching. I was looking at HIMS. So HIMS lost its Novo Nordisk deal the other day. It dropped dramatically down to equilibrium on the daily here. We went, look at what we did. We were above this big volume gap. It entered it in aftermarket or pre-market or whenever that fall happened, and it went straight to the bottom and stopped. Okay. Now we're looking to see what's going to happen next. So I'm looking for, let's go to the 4-hour. I'm looking for, yeah, this is actually not too bad. I might actually be interested in this today. Maybe even I might sell like a put at $40 on this thing, or maybe like 38 to give myself a little bit of a cushion, because this thing could find its way easily back up to like 56 and then crater back over again. I gave it a few days after this big fall, because the thing, retail tends to buy a falling knife and then it continues to fall. It might still fall, so basically I'd be in it unless it went beneath this white line here, which I believe is the 10-day moving average, or this one, the 10 something, the 40-hour moving average. And if it lost that, then I would just take my loss and wait for it to come all the way back down to 40 and see what happens there. Because if we lose 40, it might stop at 38 right here because there's support, but it might also go all the way down to 32, or maybe even all the way back down to 24 once it hits that. So because falling knives tend to not really they tend to not stop exactly where you think they're going to, especially when they're as wild as a stock like this. So that's what I've been looking at there. AMD charging up like crazy lately. AMD, where we at? AMD. Let me find it. There it is. AMD's been a rocket ship. Man, look at this thing. Just straight up. We're going into our third angle here. So we had like one angle, two angles, and three is that straight up angle. This thing could go honestly, this thing could go as high as like 175 without stopping. I've been going in and out, making like $1,000 here, $600 there on this one this last couple of weeks. Nvidia cracked 150. So we're at all-time highs for Nvidia. Next stop is about that 170, 174 range. If we bring a fib off of this move, let's take a fib off of this move. Yeah, that could go as high as 184 off of this current move. But let's go ahead and do a fib extension off the previous move. Let me nail that. There we go. And where's this one? About right there. Okay, yep, about 177 is that fib extension on Nvidia, and unless we get some bad news, I do expect it to likely hit that target. VRT still charging up, ACMR still charging up. Let's take a look at another one I've talked about before, Qualcomm. Qualcomm is very interesting right now as well. It is getting to that area. It just got above its 200-day moving average. It is holding this white line right here. We can get just a bit higher. We get just a bit higher. This thing's going to also run for 175. Let's take a look at, I've also been looking a lot at Intel lately. So Intel has come back down to like its area down here, like at the $19, $20 range, and it's starting to move back up again. Let me turn off my drawings for a second. It's hitting that 200-day moving average. You can get above that. That'll be nice. The on-balance volume is looking good. The BX trender is looking great. If I go out to the monthly, you can see it's making higher lows on the BX trender. The well, I don't even need to find it because I know it crossed up because the background is green on that. So we got a green background on the on-balance volume, and the RSI is starting to point upward on the monthly. That's good. This looks like a nice accumulation zone right here before it blasts up to like 35, maybe even finding itself back up to $50. Let's take a look at the 1 week here on this bad boy. Yeah, same sort of thing. Everything's looking good. BX trender's been good for a couple of weeks. RSI is above neutral. This on-balance volume looks like it might want to cross back down again, so it might stay in this purgatory for a little while before it pops up to the 200-week. That'll be exciting as well. One more. All right, this is the last one I'm going to give you today. Disney's very interesting right now. It's very interesting right now. It came all the way down to $80 back in April, right? Which seems to be its ultimate low right here. It's critical support, and it is now getting to back to the top of this range right here. If we can break out of this range that is in right now, the top of that range being 126.83. So 126.83, we cross above 126.83, and Disney opens the door. Disney opens the door up to 143, potentially even 160. So Disney's very exciting right here. Now it could fail right here because this is the top of the range. It is the top of the range, and it is doing a similar motion that it did back here. It's doing a very similar motion that it did right here. If you look at that and this right here, doing a very similar motion. So watch out for that engulfing red candle that takes us all the way back down to like $90 on this thing. Watch for that because it is doing that same exact structure, right? Big green candle followed by a little scoop up and then failure. Big green candle, scoop up. Now we're looking for it to continue to blast off or failure. That's what we're watching for right now. So it's early, but isn't that what you want? Don't you want these things to be brought to you early so you can monitor them for the breakout? So when we get that breakout, yeah, 143 becomes possible all the way up to potentially 160. And if it fails, we could come all the way back down to $93 to $90. Okay, maybe even all the way down to 91.34 is basically the bottom there. And if we go any further than that, we're gonna have a bad time. We're in the basement at that point. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Don't forget about Capital Curiosities if you want something just for purely entertainment purposes, not just information and entertainment like Trade Cave. Go ahead and comment TC over there if you do find yourself watching one of their videos. Check out the YouTube memberships if you're so inclined, and have a profitable day.